Okay, these are going to be the instructions for groundwater lab number 1. And what you have to do, this is very important, you need to listen to this entire presentation before you do anything to start this lab. And I mean listen to the whole thing from start all the way to the last slide. First thing you're going to do is you're going to make yourself a little data chart in a page in your notebook. Just like this, the stuff that's written there in red is stuff that you're going to complete. You're going to list the materials as you go through and you view these instructions, make a little chart, and the conclusions, of course, we'll do after the presentation is finished. So pause right now, make this chart in your notebook. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go get 3 cups, and you're going to put sand in one. That's this one right here, sand. This is sand. And then you're going to get another one with red clay. You're going to have one that's going to have gravel. You need to put the same amount of sand, clay, and gravel in the 3 cups. Doesn't really matter how much. We want to over half full, and don't fill them all the way up to the top, but anywhere between, somewhere around 3/4 of the way full. But make sure they're all the same. Then what you're going to do is you're going to get one of these little plastic tubes like this right here. You're going to take this and you're going to kind of jam it into the material. Start off with the gravel. Kind of push it down in there a little bit. Then you're going to go get this measuring cup. And you'll see these around the room. You're going to get it and you're going to go put some water in this. Then one of your lab members is going to time when you pour the water into that tube. You're going to pour this water into the tube and it's going to kind of fill up a little bit, but it is going to infiltrate into the material. And what we want to do is we want to time how long does it take for all of this water to wind up in the material, whether it's the gravel, the sand, or the clay. So you need to pour the water into the tube all at once. Don't pour it slowly, dump it all in there. You'll back up, but it's got enough room. And you press stop. You stop timing once all of the water is out of this tube and it's down here in the material. You're going to do the same for the sand and for the clay. When you are done, and this is very important, there is a receptacle for you to, a bucket for you to put the wet clay and the wet sand. Don't mix the two of them, and don't put the wet clay and sand back into the container that had the dry sand and clay. You must put the materials, the wet stuff, into their own bucket. The gravel can go right back in the bucket because the gravel doesn't soak up water so much. Okay, so you've listened to the whole presentation. Now what do? At this point, you need to bring me your notebook. I'm going to look it over to see that you have the materials listed that you need. And I'm going to ask you a couple questions to ensure that you understand what you're supposed to be doing in this lab. I'll put a little check mark on your notebook, and at that point, then you can go with your lab partners and get started. If you don't come and check with me, I'm going to pull you out of the lab and you're not going to get credit for this assignment because your instructions were very clear to listen to the entire presentation and then now come see me so that I know that you know what you have to do in order to complete the lab successfully.